Speaking of annoying, Tesla also raised the price on full self-driving.
Bing, 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 bing.
As of today.
As the prophecy stated, though. As the prophecy stated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've been saying this for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah.
Well, this one was a relatively quick turnaround, but fine. This theme has existed for a while. And
but Elon has said this for years, that self-driving will just keep increasing in price as the features come along.
Right.
So
Correct.
You're better to buy it now because it will not be this price in the future.
I still argue, like, I still would not recommend it, basically, for anyone out there that's not a content creator that needs to do testing with it or whatever. I don't think it's worth the money, honestly. Because the reason I say it is because generic autopilot that comes with the price of the car, if you've never had a Tesla before, is mind-blowingly good. It is amazing, and beyond that, I guess personally, I find it to be so incrementally, like it's just fractionally better, I guess is the way I see it. Now, if and when full self-driving is a real thing and it's not just this beta test and doesn't have all these problems that we're seeing, but at some point it'll be really cool and worth the money. But I think they're pricing people out of it. You know what I mean? $10,000 is a lot to add to the price of an already expensive car for most people. So I think the take rate's going to be lower and lower, essentially.
But they just lowered the price of the car like 2 weeks ago by $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever.
The Model 3?
Or some of their cars.
The Model S, I know they did.
The Model Y in June or July, they lowered by $2,000 or $3,000.
Yep.
And I don't agree with your idea of not buying it. I think we know it's going to increase in price, and as it becomes, in 2 years from now, so my $4,000 investment is now worth $10,000 because I purchased full self-driving for $4,000. When I bought my car is actually worth more now, because it has full self-driving.
Well, that's a good question, though. If/when you sell your car, does that transfer with it? Or does the next person have to buy it as well? On the private market,
yes. I don't think they can take that away from you. If you sell it
why not?
peer-to-peer.
Don't underestimate Tesla here.
Wow.
Well, but seriously though, why not? I mean, like if it's tied to your account.
That's the question. I'm not sure there's an answer, but there's been back and forth in different examples of people where they've sold their car to someone and then they remove these features because that new person hadn't paid for them, and then there was internet outrage. They gave it back to them. But what's the comment? Like, what is the real answer? And this is where Tesla shows its vulnerability, I would say. Right? I've always said this, where they make the absolute best products, best electric cars, bar none, like not even close. No one's even close to them whatsoever. But as a company that manages things like invoicing and financing and customer service and all this, they have a long way to go.
Yeah.
They're not like Nordstrom's is probably a great example where people shop at Nordstrom's not because they're trying to be bougie, but because they know if there's any problems whatsoever with their thing, they just go back and say here, and they're like, cool, no questions asked, we'll help you. Like, you buy it there because you have trust that they're going to take care of you. Tesla definitely does not have that. It's very much
your
like
best odds are getting Elon's attention on Twitter. That's your best odds of getting your problem solved.
Right. Yeah. It's less than ideal, we'll say. But it's a good question. So who has it? Do you have it, or does the car have it? Because if you have it, I guess it's a different, Yeah.
Are they going to take away my performance package? Because
and they also brought back enhanced autopilot, right? Is that still a thing you can buy?
They're going to take away the windshield wipers.
Buy
now. Pay extra to wipe the windshield.
Pay per use windshield wipers.
Now, oh my god! Yeah, it's like a nickel every time the thing's wiped.
You're crying when it's a torrential downpour for years.
Now there is a. Okay, I don't see it on there. Yeah, it's $10,000 on the website right now if you try to buy it. I thought I read that they brought back enhanced autopilot, right?
I thought so too.
It must be like an upgrade. Lower. Okay, Tesla unveils lower price enhanced autopilot for existing owners. Right. Yeah, the package cost $5,000 previously. Yeah. So this whole mess, I think Ryan Shaw did a video on this, and people got really mad at him, as the fanboys tend to do. But he was like, it's basically a giant mess of how this pricing and options have changed over time and who gets what and all that. Like, I know when I sold my Model 3, it had enhanced autopilot, which is basically everything that full self-driving is now, with the exception of the ability to not have to confirm a lane change or something. It was like one little
now.
It doesn't show traffic cones in the visualization.
And stoplights.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it was basically like two tiny little things that you're really not going to hardly use right now. So
yeah.
So let me ask you, real quick, Tim. So you've got the full self-driving, and you just made the whole statement that like you just made more money on your investment basically because you spent what, $4,000 and now it's worth 10.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
15 minutes at Geico.
Right. So that's funny. My question is like, what are your plans for it? Like, is it just like a cool toy? Is it just like a fun thing that it's fun for you to have? Do you actually have plans to put it on a Tesla network and like make money off of it someday? And is it an investment in that way for you?
I see it as, I really believe that this car is physically capable of full self-driving to the point of I won't have to drive it. And therefore, I see it as like, where legally speaking, when it's ready to be able to do that, where I can literally go on road trips or do little things around town and be able to still be working or answering emails and doing the things that people are doing stupidly while still in control of an automobile, be able to do that stuff safely, legally, and responsibly. That is my ultimate dream. And I think that's a lot of people are seeing that as the near future, at least in the next 10 years, that most cars should have that ability. That's the reason I bought it, is I want that for myself and just for the safety and peace of mind. But I hate that, like, me running and I'm so spoiled. I live 6 minutes away from like Target, but like those 6 minutes are just so annoying to me. Or like, if I want to go to like a Best Buy, it's like 15 minutes away or something. And I'm like, nah, let's order it online, like why save, I can't be working during those times, and I'm just all about maximizing my time efficiency. So if I can have the car doing that stuff that's meaningless, and menial, like I might as well.
The main reason I would get full self-driving and pay $10,000 for it would be for my car to be able to drive around and pick people up and make some money. Like that's an actual investment. You could actually make money back on that. That could pay for the car itself.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, when I think about that, like I don't want my car driving around out there with random people getting into it. Like I might buy buy another one.
Yeah.
And have that parked out front and it can go and do its thing. And I'm just sitting here, dollar bills, y'all. But I don't know that I would want to do that with my car. So I'm having a hard time justifying. Like, I like the idea of my car driving itself as well, but not enough to pay $10,000 for it.
That's exactly my point. I think right now they're at the point where they're pricing people out of it.
Yeah.
Where it's too much money for people to see the value.
But today, here's my
maybe one day, but
here's my
that
argument,
one day
though.
may never come. You know what I mean?
Right. But here's my argument. Okay, there's the scale of like self-driving goes no option, chauffeur. A chauffeur is going to cost, way more than $10,000 a year if you're using a chauffeur regularly, or if you have a chauffeur on staff, you're now paying somebody $60,000 or whatever, right? And that is a sunk cost, period. There is no recouping from that besides your time and work. Now we have something that you pay $10,000, depreciates a depreciating asset with the car, potentially increasing asset if they raise the price on it. And now, you have something that's $10,000. In the future, we'll pretend in 2 years, full feature self-complete, or full self-driving, completely feature complete. And now you're able to have self-driving for $10,000. And then you drive the car for 3 years, your lease is up, and you lost $5,000, we'll say. Like, to me, 3 years of having someone drive me around for $5,000 while I can work, having a chauffeur for $5,000, like that's a heck of a value to me.
That's not the worst argument I've ever heard.
And I like driving.
I would want to be chauffeured around in something like that fancy Lucid Air though.
Yeah, where you sit in the back.
Seat.
Yeah.
Dude,
with some great poupon.
Seating.
Just kicking back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I still wonder. I think for the average consumer, it's just already too expensive, and I doubt people are going to really be until they're actually driving around on their own, in a completely reliable, this is normal way. I don't think it. Just maybe it's my perception, and we'll have to see the data, of course. But like, my perception is it's too expensive for people now, and as it gets more expensive, it's just going to be the percentage of people that are going to actually buy it and see the value in it, like you, Tim, are seeing here, is just going to be lower and lower, lower, lower. You know.
Well, let's wrap on this. How much is Super Cruise?
No clue.
How much is
1,000 times better?
Yeah. How much is any other driving assistant? Like, they're normally in packages that are $5,000.
Okay.
Driving, like a lane keep assist, a radar cruise control. These are normally all packaged up in cars. You can get a Corolla for $20,000. If you want that Corolla to have any kind of driving assist, you're spending $30,000. You're spending $10,000 on packages that help you in driving, but also maybe heated seats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't see it as that out of the blue. It's a luxury car.
The difference, though, is that the difference, though, isn't nothing and everything. It's regular autopilot and full self-driving. The delta there isn't not having any version of autopilot and having full self-driving, right? So to me, that's the bigger thing, is like, if you're coming from a Corolla or whatever, and when the Model 3 was really selling, they were showing data like the top 5 cars being traded in were all, Nissan Sentra type cars, like basic economical vehicles. Having any form of autopilot, I think, is going to blow people's minds and be like, that's fantastic. I love this. And that's where I think the difference between that and at least what full self-driving is today, I see as that is a small difference to somebody versus the huge difference of not having autopilot and having the basics. So I think that, like, as full self, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if full self-driving were actually full self-driving today and could do all those things, I would agree that I think a lot of people would be like, oh, that's worth it. But since it's
the difference,
still pretty minimal, like do you see a huge difference between regular autopilot and this? I mean, what do you get? Like the automatic lane change, navigate
the beta.
Autopilot.
If you're on the full self-driving beta, there's a big difference.
Right, but that's not what if you buy $10,000 today, you do not get that. Right.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
Right. Soon, I mean, by the end of the year, that should be a toggleable option. So, okay, I'm going to wrap on this. I'm going to say, I agree with you. I also disagree with you, but I would not be surprised if they're raising the price right now because of all the hype of full self-driving beta out there. They took it up to $10,000. They're going to get a couple people buying it at $10,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 months it lowers back down to $8,000 or something else.
That could be.
Possible.
I think, and they'll be like, okay, we changed the pricing scheme. Love
us again. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks everybody.